Okay, it's 7:15 on March 3rd. We'll call to order the City of Brainerd Personnel and Finance Committee meeting, and we'll start with introductions.
Alderman at Large, Kevin Studick.
Jesse Dean, City Engineer.
Connie Hillman, City Finance Director.
Nick Burrell, City Administrator.
Kelly Bevins, City Council Ward 2.
Teresa Burke, Brainerd Dispatch.
James Grumman, Community Development Director.
Paul Scogan, High Tech Construction.
Joe Langle, City Attorney.
Chris Schubert, HR Director.
Gabe Johnson, Chair of the committee. We have 7 published items. We are going to have an 8th item in front of us here. We have a memorandum of agreement with the IBEW 31 Administrative Support Union. So we'll add that as item number 8. So we're 1 minute in. We're down to 14 minutes with 8 items. First is to approve revised special assessment policy. Connie.
Actually, this is Mr. Dean.
Jesse, go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At the last meeting, the council requested the deferred assessment section of the special assessment policy be amended to reflect interest accrual term from 10 to 30 years and that the assessments are due at the sale of the property. So attached is the revision to the policy that reflects the change from 10 to 30 on the term for interest accrual. As mentioned in the agenda item for the state statute, the deferments are no longer valid once the property is sold, and the policy is already reflected with that. So this does cover most of the assessment projects that we do moving forward, and the policy would apply towards these. In discussion with the city attorney, another option the council could have would be to just remove that statement altogether. Should that happen, the statute would limit the assessment term to 30 years, but the interest would continue to accrue until the assessment is paid. Another option that you could include would be to revise the policy that you could have almost separate terms for deferrals. One set of terms for hardship deferrals and another set of terms for undeveloped property deferrals. As of right now, we have the policy draft that's included that's based on the action taken at the last meeting, but staff wanted to provide some discussion regarding some alternatives.
Okay, thank you. And your recommendation is to approve the attached revised special assessment policy, and the revisions we have in the policy are changing it to 30 years, doesn't address undeveloped property, so we're basically only putting 30 years of interest on economic hardship people.
I so move to make that motion.
I don't want to have interest for 30 years on those people.
Me neither.
Oh, then we don't.
No,
So the
I'm not
motion
gonna-
dies.
Okay, I'd suggest that we direct staff to come back in 2 weeks with a undeveloped property assessment change and leave the hardships the way they are, or make 2 separate, whatever you think is easier.
But we're not trying to put the screws to
No,
people in
not
economic
at all.
hardship.
No, to the people who, and not everybody gets the undeveloped property deferment. This is just for those people that we designate, like Beaver Dam, where we were trying to get them to approve the project, right?
We can establish that as a resolution at that time for that project.
So you work it out.
So that's a
Those
motion.
people.
I rescind that motion.
Motion from Kelly to
Okay.
come back in 2
I'll
weeks.
second that.
2 separate deferment.
That's
Oh, Mr. Chairman, I add one
That's
thing to
fine.
that.
Yep.
Jesse, please also look into the people who, like the last guy who was outside of the city of Brainerd when the project was done. What do they call that, a hookup fee?
Connection charge.
Connection fee, to make sure that those connection fees would be comparable to somebody who had deferred. Does that make sense? Okay, let me do some math. 2004, you had a $10,000 assessment. You chose to defer because it's all just dirt, okay? 30 years later, you've been paying interest. At year 28, you decide to develop, and your neighbor who's outside of the city decides to come in and hook up to our sewer, just like the guy that did at the end of the thing. You two should pay about the same if the property is approximately the same. In other words, we had to pick a connection fee out of the air based on expected interest of what they would have had they been in the city of Brainerd. There's got to be a little better math as to a square footage for the person who comes into the city of Brainerd and hooks up on Beaver Dam Road. So it's not just a dartboard.
That's another thing you want to bring the personnel finance.
Yeah, I wanna bring it to P&L.
So we did have a connection charge that established on Beaver Dam.
Do you recall the meeting after meeting after meeting that we argued over that?
I don't, because I wasn't here at that point,
Okay.
but there was a resolution that established the connection charge.
Yep.
And then each year, they added a year of interest,
Yep.
up to 10 years. After 10 years, they did not add any more interest
So
on
it should
it.
also be 30 years, just to be comparable to this. And please make sure that wherever we're at on that connection fee, the council knows what that connection fee is, and it's comparable to somebody who deferred way back and is paying. Does that make sense?
So I have a question for Joe, can we go back and change what we did, the resolutions for Beaver Dam and Riverside?
Justin and I talked about that earlier. That's not something I've ever seen done before. We're gonna look into that a little bit more, because it's not covered by state statute.
Okay.
Not saying you can't do it, but I
Yeah.
wanna just double check.
But I'm just saying the person who comes in should be comparable in price to the person who's in regardless of that.
We can clarify language in a draft policy that I'll say is generic enough that we can mold it for project to project and
Yeah, and if we can't go back in time, that's fine, but moving forward, if we have other projects. Okay. Let's move on.
Okay, we have motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next up, we have the library exterior mechanical repairs proposal. Jesse?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So staff has included the proposal from High Tech for the library exteriors repairs, including a breakdown of the scope and the budget. We've looked at the different items included in there and provided some alternatives for the council to consider. We've included alternative number one is described as the recommended alternative, which includes resurfacing of the north lot or Maple lot, as it's beginning to show wear and deterioration in the parking lot. Fund is likely to not have funds available in a few years when it's going to be in severe condition. However, for cost savings, an alternative without resurfacing of the lot is included. That shows the budget estimate of just under $340,000, which is nearly $90,000 under the capital budget for the project. So depending on the scope of work the council determines, staff would have Gordian work with High Tech to verify the work items match the Sourcewell bid, and then formalize a price proposal as well as a purchase order as laid out with the other attachment in the packet, that 5-step process. Then those would be presented to the council at a future meeting for approval before the contractor would get the go-ahead.
Okay, I do not support resurfacing the paid lot, the Maple Street lot is not a library lot. It's a leased parking lot. It has a parking lot fund. If that fund doesn't have enough money, that's that fund's problem. We don't just take money from the taxpayers because we feel we have some left over on a project. Right? We bid this project out, it came back at $338 to do what we needed done. I don't see any sense in adding a parking lot to it. I don't think it's right. So I would like to see alternative two.
Move to approve without the parking lot.
I'll second. Any
What?
discussion?
Nope, all in favor.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I didn't hear you.
I
I
know.
thought you were talking to him.
No, we're
The motion carries, it was to
You did good, Chief.
fix the building without doing the parking lot.
Yeah, we can do the parking lot, just should come out of the parking lot fund.
Yeah. Okay, number 3, municipal dispensary license. Nick, James, Nick?
So council directed staff to work with potential business partners to have a municipal cannabis store. So we've submitted an RFP, that's hit the street, where we have 30 days since the last meeting to get responses. Concurrently with that, if this is a path that the council decides they may want to go down, we also need to apply for a state license, and a state municipal license, and that, the expiration for that deadline is the 14th of this month. And it will cost $2,500 for the city to apply for that license. $2,500 is not reimbursable, so if we apply for that license, that money's gone, we'll never get it back. Whether we choose or not, we may choose, we may not choose to go down this path and actually have a municipal
You like $1
cannabis.
million? Is that real?
Well, $1 million isn't real, maybe something is. The thing that worries me, I could go either way on this, because it could be a waste of $2,500 if we don't move forward with municipal. But if we want to move forward with municipal today, in 5 years, in 10 years, as far as we know right now, the application deadline closes March 14th, 2025, and they haven't ever announced another opening. If it's gonna open back up. So, I could go either way. Looking for a motion.
I would move that we spend the 2,500.
I'm gonna vote no.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right, next up is accept resignation of CSO Joshua Winslow.
Yes, he submitted his resignation effective March 5th, and we recommend to backfill the position.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Accept Donnelly resignation.
Donnelly submitted his resignation effective February 28th, and we asked to backfill the position.
So I guess we just hired.
Yeah,
Less
Do we
than
know
6
why?
months.
we have a motion.
Second.
Did you say why?
He got a different job somewhere else.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Ratify the hiring of Wyatt Pribble. Chris.
Yes, asking to ratify his hiring at step 3 and effective March 17th.
So move.
Second.
And the step 3 is because he is coming from a different street department, has a few years' experience, and feel he'd be
He
a
has
good
a
fit for our.
CDL already, we don't have to pay for that. He also is a DOT inspector, so that's another bonus for us to have him on staff.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, fire contract formula, informational. Connie, give me your best 30 seconds on it.
This is the information that was provided to the townships at the February 19th meeting. The same costs and factors have been used in the past per the contract agreement with the concrete areas. A memo was sent out to the township, was also included in the packet. Overall cost increased about $46,800. The city's share went up about $17,500. And Councilmember Johnson has asked that the agreements be reviewed during this year.
Every year it comes to this, and it's just informational, it's already done, the council doesn't really have any time to
Right.
take action. So I think we should look at the fire formula, I think we should look at the service district, maybe get an administrative fee, maybe see if there are adjustments can be made, but we haven't looked at it in 12 years at least,
Does
so.
the fire advisory board looks at it every year though, yes?
Yeah, but we've talked about it for years and years about looking at that formula.
Yeah.
Connie.
But it's been approved by the fire advisory board.
It has been, and this is the details, was in the memo, exactly what we used.
Move to approve.
There's no need to approve it, it's already been.
It's informational, we can't, that's why I wanted to talk about it, because we can't approve it. Okay, final
Good try,
item.
don't kill it.
Yeah.
Final item is the memorandum of agreement with IBEW Administrative Support, approving 4 new positions in the technology department. Chris,
So we met with them today, and the union has agreed to the wages we proposed
At 3:45.
at 6:45.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Chris.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, that motion carries.
God, we could have went to